What's going on, Capricorn? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist 8. Justin here, and I hope you're having an awesome week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, check me out. I'm back. I'm pretty much a full functioning adult. And that's all because you keep showing up. You keep raising that vibration with your shares, your likes, keeping us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy your higher self has brought you here. You're in for the best journey. Now, what I'm going to be doing this week is a tarot card reading for the week of November. What day is it? November 6th through the 12th. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, okay? So, with all that being said, look at that transition, man. I'm losing it every time. We're in good moods. Good moods, Capricorn. Gems are happy to see ya. Let's do this thing. I'm going to be pulling 15 cards. They're going to be in 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to represent the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right hand corners are going to be some possible future outcomes you might be considering. The bottom left is going to be some perspectives you might be thinking about in relationship to the nature of the problem. And then finally, the bottom right will be whatever perspective or whatever messages that your higher self would like you to know. And in case you all were curious, I'm using Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. The imagery on these cards are super cool, so I'll make sure to show you those all throughout. But without further ado, higher self, what do we have in store for Capricorn this week? Let me get your cards pulled, and then we will get to it. Wow. Oof. Okay, Capricorn, we are bringing it to... All right, okay. Whoa. Wow. Okay, I keep saying that I'm going to stop making sound effects before all the cards are pulled, but apparently that is not happening. Because look at this energy. Wow, look at this energy, Capricorn. I'm loving it. Oh, come on, the sun. Get out of here. You know what, go home. We're done. Wow. No, we're just beginning. Hold on. Let me get these organized. Let's just, hold on. Wow. Let me sit with this for just like a hot second. Figure out what's going on here, Capricorn, because oof. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm so with it, Capricorn. Let's do this thing. Let's jump into it and let's see where this ride takes us. Because, you got half the major arcana here, pretty much. You got the High Priestess as the nature of your problem here, or you're just a regular priestess in this one. No, you're not. You're such a High Priestess. You got the Universe. We're moving it along, and the Adjustment card. Well, and you know what? Before we even get into it, I've been telling all the signs so far. It's just, the energy, for some reason, it's just been, there's been a shift, and I feel it. And I like to think that it's, I like to feel that it's, I feel like you're all getting comfortable with me. You're starting to trust me, opening up and, sharing this energy with me. So I do appreciate that, and I want to make sure if I am feeling like I'm doing the most right now, it's just because I feel like there's been a shift, that there's been like this, Justin, we love what you're doing, so you're bringing this energy, and I know I'm feeling it, and hopefully you're feeling it too, because with this with the Priestess, she is about, I feel with this being the nature of your problem, come on girl, what are we here for? We're trying to give, she's a card of intuition. I feel like for some, we're not trusting our gut when it comes to dealing with the ebbs and flows of life. I feel like we're overanalyzing things is what I'm getting with the Priestess popping up here. Because she's a card of, that she's a card of dealing with anything that has to deal with fluctuations, that ebb and flow, oh, I know we've had 2 of disc before, Capricorn, but anything that's going to that just really that opposite, that positive and negative, that balance, adjustment, really, I love this. That's what the High Priestess is about. You're just gonna be the High Priestess. She's the High Priestess in other decks. That's why I keep calling her that. She's the Priestess in this one, which I don't know why we've demoted, because this is the Moon too. And oh, how perfect, because the Moon is doing a bunch of stuff too. But this is to show too. Think of the Priestess as the Moon. The Moon is always changing its faces, constantly adapting. It has to go through. It stays in each sign for about 2.5 days. It's dealing with that constant change. But you know what? The Priestess is staying balanced in all of that. And I feel like for some of us this week, that's where we're getting at. We're trying to figure out, we're something's got us out of whack. I do feel like we've been maybe we've been thinking too much, and we haven't been trusting our intuition, because that's really the big thing with the Priestess for me, is getting in touch with like our spirituality, because she's that. Think of in spirituality in the sense of like trusting your gut and listening to your, getting in touch with like your higher self, because you see sometimes when I'm losing the reins on this thing, when higher self takes a, helps me bring it back home, magic happens. It's beautiful. And I feel like that's where we're trying to get to. We need to get to this place where, where we are trusting ourselves more. Because I feel like with this popping up with the universe, normally this is like my card of clarity. It's that big picture. But with her popping up, I feel like we're not seeing it, or we're having troubles. We're having troubles comprehending what that big picture looks like, because I feel like we're not feeling, just like how I'm saying I feel this, because if I think this is what's going on, then that's all you can go to your friends, or you could go anywhere else to go about what you think, but because I hopefully that makes sense. But really I feel like it's less. I feel like you're overthinking. That's what keeps wanting to pop out, out of I have trouble with sentences. So if this is all the sentence that I seem to be capable of, then that's what's going on. At least I'm picking that up strong for a lot of us. And this is going to be our solution, is that adjusting. And I know that may seem kind of glib, really easy, like duh, Justin. But it's one of those things where it's easier to say when we're not aware of it, but once it's been brought to our attention, it's like, oh, maybe I haven't been quite as, maybe I haven't been, maybe the harmony hasn't been quite as simpatico as I would have, maybe as you would have liked it to be. Because, when I think of Capricorn, honestly, Capricorns just in general, they give me very much, and he's not here, but Prince of Disc vibe. And with the Prince of Disc, I know he's not here, but it's going to be relevant, because the Prince of Disc, he's so responsible. He's a hard worker, super planner, very resourceful. Tell me you didn't just nod at all of that. You're like, yeah, I'm that. Yeah, I'm that. Yeah, of course you are, Capricorn. You are all those things. The negative side, if I had to bring up one negative with the Prince of Disc, is that sometimes he can be out of touch with his spirituality. And I don't mean that, I do mean that in a sense of like out of touch with our intuition, with our gut, because we all have this in however it manifests. I was just talking with someone the other day, and they said something so clever. I was having technical difficulties, shocker, and he came over and helped me, and I was just like, what's going on? I tried doing the same thing, but when I tried to do it, it didn't work. But then when he did it, it absolutely worked. And his response was, well, I'm just intuitive with technology. And I was just like, that is brilliant. But see, and I hope that's really helping me bring that point home, because I'm saying intuition and whatever that manifests for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go pick up a tarot card deck and start, quit what you're doing and laying out the cards. But it might be nice too. And this, what? The fact that you're here, this might be actually half the battle. You're taking that step towards the right direction. Because I do feel like, this is resonating with you, or if you're. I feel like you're here for a reason, and I want to say that. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like that was aggressive. I think your higher self. See, there I go thinking. I feel like your higher self. I just channeled your higher self, because we're thinking too much. We want to feel more, Capricorn. We want to trust our intuition more. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's get over here. Because for some future stuff here, got the Prince of Wands, have the Lust card, and you have the Six of Cups. And you know what? I just had a thought. I just had another thought, Capricorn. Look at all this, just so that I don't even know how everything came in here. You got one, two, three, four, five, and I think there's one more here. Six. Almost half of your cards are major arcana. And that's when you got major arcana cards popping up. That's usually like your higher self, the universe, kind of playing behind the scenes, kind of helping to contribute here. So this is, I feel like, don't don't be alarmed, but I feel like all of your higher self is trying to really get your attention here. But let's talk about this stuff here. Did I go over what these cards are? I sure did. So with the Prince of Wands here, I do feel like it's one of those things with him popping up. He's been popping up in kind of weird ways, but I feel like with this, in relation to the nature of your problem, this is something that's out of our I don't want to say comfort zone, but it's something that we're unfamiliar with. I feel like this is something maybe you've been, if we are getting in touch with our spirituality, getting back in touch with our higher self. This is untreaded water here, or we just haven't been in this realm for a while. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable, but come with that confidence, come with that this he's normally like my fake it till you make it card, and that might be the case. It might be something as simple as just really kind of tuning in to, because I'm not that's a tricky thing. That's like trying to teach, or trying to explain to someone how to be funny. It's one of those things. I feel like this week, try to find some ways where you're not analyzing things so much, that you're just kind of going with the moment, going with the flow, because that's a tricky thing, I feel like, to try to communicate, to trust your gut. And when that pops up, oh yeah, because that's interesting, Prince of Wands. But that's not to say that, if anything, it's not to say, I'm not trying to say this to, like, because I'm like intimidated by the problem, and neither should you be, because even though it's kind of a tricky nature of your problem, you got the strength for it, is where I'm really trying to get that to. Because the Lust card is about that, having that strength, that courage, that spiritual fire. That yeah, that's what I'm really feeling. That I'm getting that this is something you are more intuitive than I even feel like you're aware of. And with that Lust card popping out, it's only a matter of convincing yourself that, and that, it's one thing for me to tell you that. If I'm telling you how great you look, yeah, that's one thing. But do you feel what I'm telling you? Because if those things are, if there's that disconnect, then none of that matters. You gotta really trust your strength here, and know that you're gonna be able to do this, and to have fun while you're doing it. Don't turn this into a thing where you're like, all right, we're gonna take all that. You remember all those things I listed about you, how you're all those hard working traits. I'm with you. I'm with you being the hard workers, but have fun with this. Don't force it. That's the biggest thing I will say, while we're figuring out how to be in that realm, be a little more comfortable with the uncertainty, that ebb and flow. Have a little fun with it. Don't try to make this a thing where you're trying to force this image upon yourself. You're trying to make, however you're like, however that looks like for you. Don't force that. And make sure that, and just not even just to have fun with it, but I really feel like too, with this, it's like keeping an open mind with all of this, and realizing that this can be a joyful experience. And you know what, that's gonna kind of, that's nice. Let's bring that over to here, because over here you got the Princess of Cups, you got the Knight of Swords, and you have the Sun. I love it. I do all this. Oh, okay. Princess of Cups. With the Princess of Cups, this is kind of what this is kind of getting nicely over here, having that fun. Um, with the Princess of Cups, she's a very generous figure, very, very giving, very loving. And I feel like with with her popping up in this instance, I really am feeling like you're out of, some of you, for some. I feel like this is really out of your depth here. This is something that's going to take some practice, and take some adjusting to get used to that. And I feel like with her popping up here, this is more so asking you to should be compassionate with yourself, and be very generous with that compassion, because getting in touch with that is not going to be an overnight thing. This is going to be, it's an everyday adjustment, getting used to changes. That is going to be, it's an everyday challenge. You know, there's always something. You know, you get it back in line, you're booping it up, booping it, booping it up. But you know, making where those little, where that boop, where that's happening a little bit longer. It's like boop, and then we're moving. I hope that's making sense. These analogies, I feel like, are getting weirder. But I'm saying, I am feeling, you know, while you're going through this, just remember to be very generous with yourself. Be compassionate. And again, don't force that. You know, have that fun with it. Because this is really exciting. And I do feel like, too, once you do realize that, you're going to go out and get it. You know, you're going to be able to navigate this a lot better. You know what? I will say so, but I will say so with him. Because he's, you know what? This is actually kind of nice that he says that, or that he's popped up like this. Because normally when I have knights here, depending on the direction that they're facing in relationship to the problem, it's either the coming or going of energy. Like energy coming to you, and you're gonna go out and do something, or excuse me, energy coming to you for you to utilize, and when it's facing away from you, it's you going out and getting it. That's what I'm trying to spit out. That's me trying to Knight of Swords right now. My one thing with the Knight of Swords is, in his efforts to get to his goal, that he's so quick to get there, that once he thinks he's understood, it's like, okay, I got it. Justin told me how to do this, done. I just gotta have fun. Like, wait, because what else did we pick up anything else along the way? Did you just take that fun and run, or are we oh wait, son, are we waiting? Are we waiting? Are we learning the lessons along the way? Is what I'm trying to get at. You know, are we taking that time to realize the wisdom along the way, that this is because this is a very delicate journey here. I feel like you're getting ready to get in touch with us, and it's going to overall, and this, again, it's not to get you scared or anything. This is a safe space, judgment-free zone here. This is just to get you to understand, you know, the greatness. You know, you're getting ready to tap into another side of yourself, and to appreciate that for all it's worth, because now when we get to that point, it's going to get you to that happiness. You know, I feel like we're going to get to that sun, you know, get to where, because the sun is about triumph, it's about glory, it's about happiness, joy, bliss, just all the warm and fuzzies. That's what the sun is bringing. And I feel like once you get to that place where we've gotten, look at how they've even came together. You know, when we have, oh, come on. Where we can just go, see how I go with the flow. I have to go with the flow every moment. Take this as an example, just as watching through this whole video. This is how we're going through the flow, Capricorn. When the hiccups happen, you know, and all these things come together, you learn how to balance through that. Take the roll with the punches. We're gonna get to that, sun. You know what? I feel like that's. I'm really hoping that this is all making sense for you, Capricorn, because this is a tricky one to try to convey here. But I feel like you're understanding. You stuck out with me this long. We're gonna get to the end of this story. Promise. Now with where your head's at, look at that. We're thinking about becoming an emperor. Love it. You got the 10 of Wands, wisdom coming, and we got the Knight of Cups, dopeness. Let me tell you why all those. Let me tell you my feelings for all of those things and why. I think that's the same. Moving on. The Emperor. The Emperor is my card of, you know, coming into that strength. You know, I feel like we've gone through that stuff so far. Now we're trying to figure out how to channel that and really make the most of that, you know. Because I feel like with this popping up, you know, this is one of those things, you know, maybe for some, if we've become aware of this, you know, that we're out of balance and stuff, and that we need to get back to our Emperor energy here, get back to where we're in control, you know, because that's what the Emperor, I feel like in this instance, you know, this is about gaining that, getting control of your domain, and all that is you know, that's really what I'm feeling with this Emperor popping up here, is, you know, this is what happens when we get to this balanced place. And I feel like with you thinking about your Emperor, that's a good sign. But because it's because of how we're working with, you know, because of the nature of your problem, you might come up against some hurdles. you know, and it could come across as very frustrating because the Ten of Wands, my caveat with this card is it can be it's very, very hot energy in the sense of like it can get to the borderline of like it's like it's like frustration exacerbated. I'm sure I know there's a word for that, but I'm running out of words here. And this is one of those things. It's like if we're at that place where we've tried and we've been forcing it and we've been hitting a wall and things haven't been going well. This is when Ten of Wands is like we've hit that. It's just like Justin, this isn't working. Flips table, and we don't want to flips table. Well, we don't want to flip tables. We want to understand that this is all part of that bigger picture here. This is, believe it or not, is painted somewhere in here because in order for this to happen, we got to have that growth sometimes. We got to get used to the wins, these epic wins, and we got to get used to and not to say this is an epic loss. I shouldn't even put it like that. We got to get used to when we're feeling those, when we're on the upswing of things, and then when we need to put it when we're on the downswing of things, and we need to put in some work. And you know what? Both of them require work because you don't want to be, you want to find that place where we're getting away from, oh, there we go. We're getting away from that work hard, play hard mentality. We want to work smart. Bring it home, adjustment. We want to work smart and we want to play smart. And then look at how adjustment is. Everything is balanced. Everything, even this look at how softer that Ten of Wands have became. And at the same time, now we're not so caught up in the sunshine. You know, we appreciate both for what they have to offer. Because that's one thing too. I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes when these cards kind of pop up, these more sort of happier ones, I'm like, I'll revel in them. I'll totally Knight of Cups it. But it is too. These kind of energies, just as important. Ten of Wands, it's just as necessary. And it's not going to come up, it's not always going to be fun. Bring it home, Knight of Cups. Because the Knight of Cups is a card of, it's not that he can't put in the work, because he totally can. It's that he loves the fun. He loves the fun in all of this. He just, in all of this, he just wants, he really just wants the sun and the Six of Cups and bye. Because this is all the good stuff here. You try to throw that on, he's like, ah! But he just wants to appreciate this brilliance. But he doesn't want to rise up to the occasion. And now I feel like with him, because he was facing you, I feel like this is now coming in. This is you getting ready this energy to rise up to this occasion is coming. Because that's what this crab up here is supposed to represent. He represents the ocean. This is the brilliance of the ocean. This peacock down here, this is where the Knight of Cups likes to live. But this is where we need to be. Because this, did I say represents the strength? Because this represents the strength of the ocean. And now we need to get to where we're rising up to this, where we're seeing our when the Ten of Wands comes a knocking, you know, we're like, this is not ideal, but fine. Like I'll go ahead and tackle it, and then look what came out of it. That sun. That was weird. But you got my gist, right? Let's move on. I'm losing you in this pile here. Let's bring it home, higher self. So, with what your messages your higher self wants you to know. You got the Four of Swords here. You got the Hanged Man and the Six of Swords. So, with both of these swords, before we even get to this Hanged Man, swords have to do with intellectual matters. So we want to get to this balanced place. Your higher self even sees it. Because both of these cards have to deal with really trying to get to Four of Swords. You have, this is another recovery card. One of my recovery cards here, in the sense of that we've been thinking about this. You know, we've been overthinking. Now we're done thinking. You know, it's time we've taken a break from thinking. Let's start feeling some things. What do we feel? How do we feel this is going to go? You know, that's because we can think all day, and I feel like this is. With this popping up, it's like I feel like we're getting out of. Your higher self wants you to know that. I feel like that realization is coming, because once you start taking, if you can find the nuggets of wisdom, remember, take what resonates with you. Find the nuggets of wisdom that I'm trying to spit out at you here, and take those with you, because it's going to get you to that place of balance. You're going to get to that because the Six of Swords is a card of. you know, that getting through tough times, you know, getting that strength after struggles. You know, this is so good, and this is coming from, I feel like, this meditative place, because that's where we're going to get to. You know, I feel like for some, your higher self is letting you know, if we're not in a hanged man situation where we need to get some new perspectives, get some redemption through sacrifice. I feel like this may, you know, for some you may be in it, but for others this could be like a caveat, just like, hey, I don't want to put us in a hanged man, you know, but at the rate we're going, you know, I don't know how else for you to get to, you know, how else for you to listen to me, because clearly this is getting to, and again, this is for some, I'm not, don't force it. You know, this is getting to a place where we just, your higher self wants you to get better from this, you know, however this is affecting your, it's, whew, how do I, oh, you know what, let me bring you back here, because I think oh, maybe let's bring it back here. Okay, Capricorn, because I don't want you to force it, because I even feel like I'm getting to a place where I might even almost be forcing, because it is it's interesting to have to explain how to tap into that and really to trust yourself. But I feel like once you know, you're gonna know, and it's going to be and it's going to come, and then I feel like this is less of something you're going to go through, and I feel like more so this is something that's going to come of you come to you while you're working on this thing, because yeah, yeah, that's really what I'm getting with this. You know, this is something that I feel like it's, this being the nature of your problem, is this is more so, it's to get you a tool to hmm man, I really, man, I'm not even sure how to bring that home, because that's hmm trust your gut, Capricorn. I think I'm forcing it too. I feel like this is and I'm thinking, trust it, trust yourself, take what resonates with you here. You know, I feel this might be the first step. This whole mess, that might even be why this is all jumbled, because this is something you got to feel through. This you're gonna need to you gotta, yeah, oh yeah, okay, I'm getting some, I'm feeling something, because that's what I want you, that's what I feel like your higher self wants you to do. To your, the only way to navigate through this and to really get the nuggets that I'm trying to get you, hopefully that you'll see in this, is to just trust your instinct, plain and simple. Let's leave it there, Capricorn, because this is, but I don't say that to get you in a place of where you should feel like, oh my gosh, Justin doesn't even, it's one thing I don't know what to say, but like, wow, how do I, because this really, this one, you brought it, Capricorn, and I like that. I like that you brought it, because now you're trying to better yourself in a way that's you're really trying to get in touch with all facets of yourself, and I like that. You know, how cool would that be to not just be known as a hard worker, but you're intuitive in your work. Oh, stop it. That's that's gonna be incredible, Capricorn. So yeah, I really hope that that made sense. I tried to make that make sense, but you brought yeah, you brought some interesting energy this week, and I feel you're in for just an exciting experience. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, share, do all those YouTube things, and to, man, to get a better pay. And I shouldn't say it like that. I really don't mean it like this is, you're in for a tough one. No, I'm more so, it is more so like a, man, this is gonna be really cool. I'm not sure what you're trying to cook up here, Capricorn, but it's going to, trust that gut. Oh, and oh, but yeah, what we're doing is we're checking our moon, we're checking our rising, and we're checking our north node this week. Which, why would we check our north node? Because it popped up in Celestial News Weekly. Yeah, I told people that I feel like I'm gonna keep the energy really high, but I'm running out of hand signals. This is we're doing the most right now, Cap. I'm trusting my gut, and you know, but because you got enough on your plate, and we should talk about some news because maybe this will help you too. This will help you too. Well, this is obviously going to help you too because this is. It's funny that that I love this. Here we go. So maybe my answers are in the news, Capricorn, because look at this. With the nature of your problem, the priestess represents the moon, and the moon is doing the most this week. Oof, and the moon is my ruler, so I'm feeling it too. The moon is going to be, there's going to be a total full moon lunar eclipse. Try saying that 10 times fast. Well, it's going down 1 time fast. Stay with me. This, what the full moon represents is kind of like, this is really about that release and manifestation. This is everything that the priestess is about. You know, this is about, the eclipse is going to throw some curveballs at you. It's going to throw, and I know, why am I so excited? Because what better way to test your intuition than throwing curveballs at you? This is something, this is less in the cards and more in the weather. I'm feeling like you need, let's get in this forecast here. Because another thing too, oh my goodness, I was just talking about this in my notes. I was talking about the Prince of Disc. You know, this is a time too, you know, while we're dealing with all this stuff and, you know, coming in, because things might be coming in real fast. And, you know, you gotta be able to respond real quick. You know, gotta trust yourself. You know, may not have time to have that planning to be so overly critical, to be perfectionist. You know, this is a good time too to make sure that you are. That you have, as you know, try to be as safeguard as you can be, you know, and not to say that the moon's going to throw craziness at you just because it wants to, but I'm just saying if you don't want it to feel, work with the energy. Work with the energies. Really, work with all these energies. That's where I feel like you're going to get your strength from. One more thing with this is all happening. Why I really mentioned the North Node too is because all this is happening. The North Node is in the same sign and the same house that the moon is in all of this. And the moon's in the 11th house while all of this is happening. So this could bring about some stuff about with our goals, our objectives, and our friendships. You know, this could bring some challenges to that, which, you know, your goal is get in touch with our gut, our instinct, our intuition, however you want to label it. You know, so this is just another thing to be mindful of. Now, with the North Node, I keep talking about this North Node. Let me actually tell you about it. The North Node is also referred to as the Dragon's Head, which is sick. The North Node indicates like our goals in this lifetime. So for example, it's funny that I'm doing Capricorns because my North Node is Capricorn. And with this is kind of showing what kind of what work needs to be done in our current lifetime, or maybe even what faculties that like new sort of skills and things, because this is what I was really kind of, you know, maybe this is just a skill that we haven't tapped into, Capricorn, and it's something, you know, maybe when you check this, check where your placement is. This might help bring this priestess home, because she wants you to, she's trying to get you to get in touch with something. So you know, this is definitely that time. Check out your North Node, because think of it as, yeah, this is like your goals in this lifetime, and then your South Node is like the opposite end of that. It's like your karma. So what you've that's your bread and butter right there. You know, what you've learned in that. So, you know, maybe we're coming in from Capricorn because we've been working hard, but now we need to get into a more intuitive place. So again, I hope that makes sense. Next thing, talk about void, of course, just because, you know, while we got the good old moon here, you know, girl, you should just hang out here for a second. Sometimes because the moon travels within the signs about every 2.5 days, there's a period of time where the moon is void of course, and that's just that transit period. It kind of where the moon just kind of wandering, priestess just kind of doing her thing. Don't ask what she's doing. She's just being the priestess. And that's kind of what the moon is doing. It's just being the moon. It's just kind of wandering. It wanders, it's literally just wanders between the signs. And this is a sign or a time too, you know, while this is going on, because it's going to happen twice this week, on the 9th and on the 11th. And the 9th is going to be about an hour and a half. It takes place about 6 o'clock in the morning. It'll go to, this is I'm going everything off of Central Time, so keep that in mind. But it'll be going from 6 o'clock. I should probably mention that to others. It's going to go, nature my problem, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7:36 in the morning. So about an hour, 30 minutes. And then on the 11th, it'll be going from 4:28 p.m. till about 6:21 p.m. So we're looking at almost 2 hours there. But this is a time to just maybe take this time. Maybe what better way to get in touch with your intuitive side? Do some maybe go do some recharging, do some quiet meditation, some introspection. It's a really good time for that. This is and really while you got all this spiritual energy in here, get in touch with that. Find out how, in what ways you're intuitive, in what ways you are intuitive. Oh, and also too, one more thing, and I'm gonna move on to aspects. With the it's also a good time to, or actually, it's not a good time. If you got any plans or anything like that, I tried. Again, wouldn't tell you what to do, but it normally during the void, of course, plans have a tendency to either fall through or might be subject to change. So just be mindful of any like kind of big ideas or kind of big things. Maybe you won't have long. It's only a couple hours. So maybe just before we make that decision, let's make sure everything is in line before we go ahead and execute. And that's all. Now on to some aspects. So first, the sun is going to be conjunct with Mercury. And during this time, this is kind of like shining a light on all of our mental processes. So again, universe is trying to support you here, Capricorn. And under the siege of nature of your problem, it's throwing all this good energy at you. And this is a good time for, after the void, of course, to schedule some meetings, some conversations, some negotiations, some contracts. And I always talk about how I have my crystals here and whatnot. Some crystals to help assist during this with this energy. You might want to grab a sunstone, maybe grab a quartz. That's going to help you kind of assist you through this energy at this time. Because I have them here. I talk about all my friends, but let me tell you why they're my friends and what my friends are doing. Because we're not just sitting here looking pretty. They're working hard. Next, Mercury is going to be in opposition to the North Node, which, yeah, that can totally happen. And that'll end. That'll energy will go on until about the end of this week, until I do the next go round on the 12th. But this can be a time too if you're feeling like, because listen, you're a great thinker. You're individual. I'm all for it. This could be a time though where it seems like our timing is just off. We're trying to get something off the ground. We're trying to pitch stuff to people, and it's not being received well. It's like the whole world is not on our side right now, and that's not the case. It's just things might just be met with just like more criticisms than normal. But I feel like it's not coming from like an overly critical place, if that makes sense. This is trying to grow. It's one of those things during this time. I feel like this couldn't be more relevant now than during this time. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest with them. However that comes to you. That's really what Mercury being opposed to the North Node is about. It's not, no one's trying to bring you down. No, that's not the case. This is not like out to get you energy. It's just like maybe just kind of keeping you more open to just some criticisms. That's all. Last thing, Venus is squared with Saturn, and that'll be going on until the 12th. And with this time, this is about a time to just like checking in with our relationships, in the sense of like maybe we need to provide some boundaries. Figuring out who to let in and who to open up to, because maybe for some, this is like we might get at this place where might be overgiving, or might be yeah, that's what I said. I know we have Princess of Cups in here somewhere. Might be Princess of Cups. Might be just kind of overgiving things, and it might be just time to set some boundaries too. Because that's another thing with the. I know I had mentioned she can be an overgiver, and if I didn't, she can totally be an overgiver. So just keep that in mind too. If you feel like you're at a place where in some relationships, however that looks like, it could even be with like your relationship with work, or however it is, if you find that you're giving too much, it might be time to just set up some healthy boundaries for yourself. Oh, and to some crystals to help you along with those. With the Mercury one opposed to the North Node, good old quartz again. Quartz is working hard. And then with this Venus being squared with Saturn, Opal's a good one to go. Opal's a good go-to, and Onyx also another good one to kind of help deal with these type of energies here. So yeah, I hope that oh, excuse me, that was loud. I hope that resonated with you. You know, I really feel like it was one of those. You know what? We know what it was about, Capricorn. I can beat that. I think I'm still trying to figure out this whole nature of your problem, but you know what? We're gonna feel it out together. Nice. Look at that. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna get to that win. Yes, Chariot. Love the Chariot, not just because it's my card. It's Cancer's card. So look at that. Both Cancers are telling you that everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna get it figured out. I totally believe in you. But this is, what are you about, Chariot? You're about victory. You're about triumph. You bring in you and the sun. You and the sun just bring it. And you know what? Yeah, Capricorn, I'm with it. No, if it look, let this be your confirmation that, you know, through this journey, I know the waves were a little rocky, you know, we were kind of feeling it out, but we're going to see the finish line. You're going to be meditating, you're going to be so zen, you're going to be so in tune with yourself, and you know, yeah, I can't wait to see how that changes, Capricorn. So all right, I'll leave it there. Yeah, I hope this resonated with you. Stay safe out there. Keep raising that vibration, Soul Tribe. And I will catch you on the next one later.